Hello. Hello and welcome. I hope this shows properly, but in any case, let's get started. Welcome, I am Ligmache69, and today we'll be continuing to work on my top-down shooter, shoot 'em all game, whatever you might want to call it. And to give some context, I have started development on this. Currently, we have basic movement, so I can do double ASD and move around in directions. There is also shooting, so I can with my mouse, it will shoot wherever I have my mouse. It's kind of a split in three directions, kind of spray. For now, there isn't really anything too special. You can see the character moves around a bit as well. That's just a result of the engine's default behavior. I have not looked into how I want to actually implement that. In any case, that's how it works. We also have an object here that you can damage, so you can like shoot it around. In addition, we have a dash function, so with space, you can dash around, and the directionality of the melee attack is totally broken at the moment, unfortunately. And it seems to be physics related because I have to implement physics, which are not functional for this use case, but I believe there is a solution, and that is one of the things we're going to be working on today. So we will be, first of all, fixing up the knife, figuring out how to get it to impact properly. Another thing right now is like with the object that we destroy, if you knife it, the knife will be impacted by touching it and will act with collision, and that is not how I want it to behave. But there are ways of dealing with that issue, and I want to look into how to actually do that in this case. And another thing I want to fix is the intended behavior is for the knife to go on the side of your character. So I want to implement a button that allows the knife to be turned to the other side of your character, like continuously for the dashing. So we'll also be looking into implementing that, and then we'll see if there's anything else that we have time for. For now, let's figure out the knife. I think the first thing we should do is try to remove all of these physics from here. It's not ideal, but it is having problems. So first of all, I think one way we could arrange for this to be fixed is to change the type. Because the character body 2D has physics and collisions applied to it, and I thought it would be suitable, but I think it might not be. However, there's a different kind of node that is area 2D, which might just be a bit of a better choice. So now our knife shouldn't do anything, and yeah, we should do this. Yeah, it of course doesn't have any of these functions, so for now we can try if get overlapping bodies is not equal to null. Let's try to print something, because this previous collision method would not work. We can, for example, print collided with something. Let's see if this works. It might not. No, it will simply take that. It seems to be full, so dot size is above 0. Let's try this. I'm not quite sure how this function, like what it outputs. So it is detecting that we are collided with somebody. Uh, so if we, for example, do this, it will see we have collided with that. I think that is a good step to fix the issue. So let's consider for collision shape. I don't know if we need that for this purpose. Yes, we do. So let's return that. Let's check that it's all shaped correctly, and it is. So for now, we have a somewhat correctly behaving knife that can, and you can see it goes, when I go to the left, it will show up on the bottom, when I go right, it will show up top. So, and if I go up, it will go to the left, when I go down, it will go to the right, and then it will also go accordingly on the diagonals. So, for now, we need to figure out fixing the detection and actually erasing the objects appropriately in accordance with that. So I think we can get rid of this here and save that. For now, this start function also is never used, so we can just get rid of everything in this actually. And we can move down to our process. Or should we move down to, I guess we should move it into our get input function. So for now, it's a bit of a mess. I haven't really optimized it, but we have a code that shows and hides knife, sets collision mask values. I guess we don't need this either. And we also have to figure out a way of making it. Oh, I wonder if we remove this. Let's test something. So let's get this back and let's just comment this out. So now it shouldn't have a collision mask, which should allow us to test, okay, does the collision mask matter for this purpose? Which I think it seems to do. It seems to only work while you're moving into it, which is the behavior we actually want to implement. So that's ideal. Let's comment this back out and let's see. Yeah, it doesn't seem to detect the collision without you having the collision mask enabled properly, which is good for us. So let's continue with figuring this out. So we know that we need this, which is good. It means our existing functions for showing and hiding a knife work properly. So let's just go through the code a bit. So first of all, we don't need this anymore. I was using a different method where I was recreating an object of a knife, but it was causing me problems, so I fixed it. For now, we have the bullet object, so it's loading the bullet scene, which is in here. It's not really a separate thing up here for some reason, but it's loaded. There is a scene called bullet that is being loaded. Oh yeah, it is here. So this is the bullet. It looks like that. And it's being utilized. And to go back on our character, we are first of all, we are starting gun, shot timer. So under character, there is the gun. And the gun has a timer. This is just related to the time between the shots, so you can't shoot too often. We can see it's set to about 0.1 seconds, so when you're shooting, you can have spray shooting, but the bullets, the projectiles don't overlap, and it's except at the beginning, but they don't overlap throughout the way, and it's not too fast for a reason. And after you have started that timer, we go into our getting input function. So this is a function we call later in a different function, but first of all, we get our directions. So we have our input set to set in inside project settings. You can in input map, you can set like left, right, up, blah, blah, blah. So I have set it so that you can move it to WASD, and then you can just move it. It will handle the actual directions for you. And the velocity is whatever direction that is times the speed, which we define up here. And if you press in dash, another one of the inputs defined in the project settings, first of all, dash timer will start. So there's timer inside here, that's dash timer. This is 0.1 seconds about. Again, it just defines how long you're in dash for. I probably will change this because it currently causes problems. Or it's not long enough at the moment, but fine-tuning it will be left until later. Then we show the knife, so we make the knife visible because it is hidden by default. And I think we define that like the knife. Where do we define it being as hidden? I'm not sure, but somewhere we define that a knife is hidden. perhaps. I think it comes in later. Anyway, we have yeah. If the timer is stopped, then we are hiding the knife. Anyways, we have that, and we also set the collision mask value uh on layer 2 because there's different layers, and this defines what it can actually collide with, what it can interact with, what it sees. So we're setting the mask for layer 2 to be true, and layer 2 is where we have our static body 2D, which is in this case our test like enemy, which is just a Godot icon. But that's how we're defining. So we're setting okay, it can collide with that item. And then we, if the timer is stopped, so, if it's like not during the dash, so if the dash isn't being done, then we are, or like, no, if it's like, as in, if it's during the timer, so if it's during the dash, we first of all set the knife rotation to align with the angle of velocity, so to align 90 degrees from where we're going, as we have done here. So for it to do this, we have defined that angle. Then we have velocity. This is just setting how fast your character moves. So it moves at the speed it does. Then if the timer is stopped, so now if your dash is ended, the dash is over, then you hide the knife again and you set the mask to false, so it will not anymore detect any collisions when it's hidden. And yeah. And then if you press click, this is for shooting. Once again, so the first settings. So first of all, we get our direction. So we do get global mouse position minus global position. So this is first of all getting our mouse position, so where our mouse is, and then taking away the position of the character and finding the angle between them, or like the coordinates. It's finding the vector between them, basically. And then if the angle of that direction is more than 0.5 times pi, that is, if it's more than like 90 degrees, I think, we are running an animation which doesn't actually do anything. This is there for some redundant code, and it will need to be adjusted to properly work. But for now, it's just here as template for being used later. And otherwise, we set it to new animation. We can actually look at these animations and see we're not actually doing shit with them. Like, they are both the same currently. But if we were to change the other one to something, you would see a difference. And then the rotation is direction that we're setting the rotation. That's why the character kind of shifts around. But for now, we might get rid of this. For now, it's just there to be, because it's used by the gun. And if the gun shoot timer is stopped, so there's the gun, which doesn't do anything, but we have the gun object here, and we have a timer. That's for like shooting between, and we start the beginning. If it's stopped, we run the shoot function, and then that is of course if you take the input. So if you take click input, we check that the first of all timer is over. This so you don't skip shooting, and then we shoot, and then we start the timer again, so the timer restarts. So there's a cooldown always. And the shoot function, it creates 3 bullet objects. Then you set we set speed, so we basically have like a default speed for the bullet, which we have defined here. And then we just add that to the speed of the character, so it will behave like alongside how you move. So if you move faster, it will always go the same amount of speed, and it will never overlap or like related to your character, so it won't overlap, like it won't have bullets overlapping your character or anything like that. So that's why we're adding into the speed of the character instead of just like defaulting the speed. And then we run the start function. This just sets, okay, it's rotated in alignment with the gun. It's set in the position of the gun barrel, the velocity, We are setting that okay, it's just speed and then rotated. So we take just like x-axis speed, which we then rotate to match where we want it. And why not? So then we continue with the so just like to explain the bullet a bit, we have physics process. So first of all, we're checking okay, move and collide. This is copied from some like example on this is copied from an example on the Godot documentation, and then I have modified it. Anyways, move and collide, or I think it's copied from one of the template projects that I have looked at. Anyways, it's there. In any case, we're running this move and collide, so that just like moves that basically tells you, okay, we move the projectile and move the bullet, and then we do it at the speed of velocity times delta. Delta just means it adjusts for like your frame rate. It doesn't change the speed depending on your frame rate. Then, if there's a collision, so if it collides with something, so basically this will return a value that's like true if it's colliding with a different object. So if it's colliding, this line again, just from the example that I copied anyways, if we collide, then if the collider, so if the thing it collides to, if the thing it hits, happens to have the method of hit that's called hit, then we call it function and we call it with a value of 20. We'll get into this in a bit. And then we Q3, so we basically erase the bullet from existence. And also we delete it once it goes out of the screen. So that's what this does. Anyways, so to go back to here, to explain this and the whole hit thing, the health is 100. So yeah, like the obstacle, the quote enemy, has 100 health, and they hit, you call into that integer, it calls into some variable, and then it just takes away a value from health. So one shot from the gun will take 20 health away. So 5 bullet hits will kill the enemy in this case. And if the health is below 0, then we get rid of it. So pretty simple, and that's how that works. Then we move back into our character, and we can look at this. So yeah, we set the position to be the muzzle of the gun. That's a marker. So we have like set this to be, well, for now I guess it's a bit away, so it will shoot from there, but we should move it actually. This is very annoying when it does that, but for now we can, I guess, move this to here. I think it will look better now. But yeah, basically it just sets to the starting point of the bullets to wherever the marker is for the gun nozzle. And yeah, this is how this dies. Anyways, going back to script, we then just add in a child. So we need to get a tree because we don't currently have like a proper main scene yet. I guess we could just add this to character, but anyways, we are basically adding this as a child. I might modify this. I think the whole get tree thing might be unneeded. So let's try getting rid of that, and I think it might work. Because it should work as a child of the character. Like, I don't know why I had that. I think that's also another thing I just copied from somewhere. Oh yeah, no, it is just that, because it seems... Now I know why I had this. It breaks the positioning otherwise. But we can shoot this like this, and then it will die. Anyways, then we continue, and we have physics process. So this is what runs all the time. So like every frame, this will run. And basically, first of all, we set the knife position to be the camera position, so where we are at. This is just to make sure the knife remains like correctly positioned. We might no longer need this because we have gotten rid of the physics issues. It was kind of a bad workaround for the physics, which were really bad originally, but for now we have changed that. And then we do get inputs, so that's this function, which we use to get all of our inputs for our movement directions, our dashing, our shooting, etc. So we just get the inputs and make all of that functions happen. Then we just set animated spread 2D rotation is 0 minus rotation. So basically we just make sure its rotation is always staying same, so it doesn't like our actual sprite doesn't rotate, but the actual character object does. That's how we're currently doing the gun rotation, although that will most likely change because this is a very inefficient approach. But for now, that's not my important thing. And then we do move and slide. What this does is it just like checks your velocity, it checks your direction, and it will just like move you to a direction. So this is what actually causes the move. So to get input, we get where we need to go, and set the parameters. But in move and slide, we actually move. And yeah, then we have a knife. So our knife just said it's like collided with something if it or like overlaps with something. So when the knife is present, when we are showing it, uh, and using it, it will every frame check if it's colliding with something, and if it's overlapping something, then it collides with some. Then it just like collides with that. So for now, that's how our code works. So for example, here we can, if we move with this, we can see you need to move for that to work as well. But we can see it collides with that. So it's working for now, but we need to change this function because we don't need it here. So let's go to our character and check inside here. So we can also add in here. So we're set multiplying the velocity by 8 here, by the way, as well. That's for the dashing, so we move faster. Anyways, we can also check here for the whole damage part. So if knife dot get yeah, why is it like being weird? Get here we go. Dot size over is equal to more than 0. Then we for I in knife dot get overplaying areas. This might be wrong syntax for all I know. And then we I dot hit, and we can say 50. Let's try this, and let's remove all of this. We don't need any of that for now. Let's see if this runs. Okay, it runs. So it should kill this in like 2 strikes. If it doesn't, then it's not working. And it's not working. So let's fix this up. For now, let's try print I. Oh yeah, let's check that this works. So yeah, it's not printing that. So let's move this to a different place. It might be that that's not a good place to have it. So let's try to have it here. No, it's not working for some reason. So let's move it back here. Let's try to just like print get overlapping areas. And let's see what it returns. Because so we can check its size is above 0, but it's still like that. This is annoying. Why is it? Oh, it's we need to check for bodies, not areas. I am dumb. Anyways, now we should be able to get that. Okay, we have the static body, which is what we need. So now we can actually go back and fix it in the other file. So we can get rid of this actually, and then go here. So we need to blah. I think we should have it here because it makes sense to have be there. If snipe dot get overlapping bodies dot size exceeds 0. for I in knife dot get overlapping bodies I dot hit and 50. And of course we should implement like an if it has the method. We don't want any errors happening in any case. And yeah, it deletes it. I mean, the detection is a bit meh, like the whole mechanic isn't that polished. So for now, that's what happens. So let's print I. Let's check what counts as actual collision here. So for now that works and that works. So for now these direct things work. I think it might have some struggle with these kinds of collisions. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. Yeah, so it does detect that. So I think we're good. And now we can get it to work properly. Of course, we have some errors here, but we don't need this. Now we should check if I dot has method hit, then we run this. So it should now die from 2 hits still. Yeah, that one doesn't count because it's too low. Too high up. Yeah, we need to figure out like the sprite and the whole collision mechanic to actually match up later. But that's a later function. For now, I want to figure out getting the actual thing to function, which it does. And how does it work with the those? It does. For some reason, it seems to sometimes take 2 collisions from it, which is a problem. I think it has relevance to the whole collision thing. So I think in this case, we should add into like here that we just hide the collision mask. So it doesn't like take 2 things. But then again, that would also break the that would break the multiple objects being hit. Whatever the case is, not a huge deal. I'm not going to fight that. For now, let's figure out getting it to turn. I think that's a more priority because for now we have actually our first objective, which is getting this to actually work somewhat. Like it looks itself correctly. It doesn't do any weird stuff with orientation, etc. But for now, it's a problem because we want to rotate it like, we might want to do plus. I think, is pi 180 or is half pi? I think we'll see. No. That's like the opposite direction from before, right? So yeah. We'll want that a condition where we add a pi into it. If we have such a direction. So let's begin by adding in like a variable. So let's say variable turned. We'll say it defaults to a false. Let's add in a new input as well. For now, it can be anything. We can make the UI for it and a bit later once we have more of our controls implemented and stuff like that. So probably not in this episode, but for now, we'll say turn. And then we need to add a key, so we can add in some key for this. I think for now we can just go with like tab. So our tab key will now break that. So get input if input dot is just pressed. This is just like checks okay. Are we checking the key we want? And then we can set this to turn. Then turned equals to true. And then turned equals, no, we can check this to not turned. I think that's the optimal approach here. So we just like toggle this to whatever it just currently isn't. And then we can just check here. Where are we checking the rotation of the knife? Here we go. So I think we can just do like if turned knife dot rotation plus equals to pi. So let's try this. So first of all, it should work this way by default. So for now, I'm going to the right, and it points up. So let's click tab, and it goes to the bottom. So it does turn correctly. We should add also like an implementation for the actual but we can see the actual like tabbing works, which is good. Does it work with the collisions both ways? So for now, let's check the collision this way. It does work. I should like position myself under this. Yeah, and then we should try to tab it. And we should do the same thing with this. So it does seem like it works properly. That's what we want to do. Yeah, this works. So for now, we have gotten to rotate. So you can click tab to rotate it. Let's add in like some sort of a HUD for it so we can check on the changes. So I guess we make a new scene. Let's call this, let's just add in like a node. Oh no, we don't want it to be node. Let's change your type to be canvas, I think it's called. Canvas layer. Then under this, not here. Yeah, then we add in, I think let's go with the label for now. We'll also add in an icon or something later, but for now, let's go with it, just like a label. And we can call this node like direction indicator. Then we can put in label. We can add in like text1. We should add this into the main scene as well. So we should add in the, oh yeah, we need to actually save this first. Save scene. Yeah, we can call it that. And then it should show up. So now we can go into our main scene. We can add this in. So now if we go to 2D, we should check the position of it. So for now, okay, let's just go to transform and move the position. Like, okay, we can't. Well, that's frustrating because it will move this instead of moving the thing I actually want to move. Why is this not like, oh yeah, we can't move it here. We have to like move it here. So where is our label even positioned here? So let's just move it to like, why is it just love moving like completely wrong things sometimes? So let's move this like here for now. And so now if you run this, we should get like one there. For now it doesn't do anything, but it should allow us to function with this. So now we need to actually go back to our scripts. We should make a main script as well, but I don't have that for now. At this point, I can just make like a from the knife function. So when it's turned, we should let's study the process like every time. So let's just say that, oh no, when we change it, we emit the change. So okay, let's first of all define a signal. So signal, and let's call this turn. Simple, but yeah. And then we just emit turn. Oh yeah, it should be turn dot emit. Here we go. So now it should emit the signal that's our character should emit signal its turn. So we need to go here and define that. Okay, our main scene. We need to go here and we need to go node, and we can assign this to connect to... Why does it not work with the direction indicator? That's a problem. Why is that not allowing us to connect? I guess we can just like connect it to main. No, we can't even do that. Why does this not like connect to either of any of this? I have no clue. Maybe we can go into main and just like... Oh yeah, there's no script for it, so we need to attach a script. Now I know. So we have set a script for you. Now you should be able to connect. Yeah, so now we connect here, and then we just need to say, okay, label dot text equals to turned. Let's say assign turned, and then let's say equals to turned. And then let's go back here and emit turned. So for now, it should... we have a label. Oh yeah, we need to set this to a string. That's the issue. So for now, we have a string. And we can... Now we should be able to get this to work. So now you can see it's saying true or false. So for now, we should actually change this to be something more indicative. But for now, true means that and false means the bottom. So that should be functional at this point of time. And then we just need to say also at the ready position. So go to our character and let's have it emit this at the beginning as well. So just so that we have it from the get-go, like correctly. So now it's saying false, true, false, true. And yeah, true is actually one that we don't want. So I guess let's emit the opposite of that. So now, like, it will actually report this will be true and this will be false. Now that's one solution, doesn't really matter. We're going to change that completely. In regards to its functions and change how that goes. In any case, we are for now done with this part. And we have done, I think, what they have started to do. So for now, we have a knife that can damage that, and we can change how it turns. That's what I really want to do, and I think I want to have everything else in the next episode. And I think I made a good progress. It didn't take that long, and we got this working. And you'll be seeing more from me in the somewhat near future. And I hope you enjoy the video. Do feel free to leave any comments or whatever if you think there's any ideas that you have for how you want me to go with this. And we'll see where we go. Bye.